Having a little bit of technical difficulties over here for stream. I'm trying to get the intro to go. Let's see if it'll play now. No, my intro doesn't want to play. The outro is the sim, so I'll play that one. All right, there we go. That's good enough. So, welcome to Tyler Today News, the first ever live stream on the channel. I am currently live from Rumble and YouTube. We've got a few stories we could talk about today. The first one I want to get into is a video that we had over the weekend, but I also want to talk about a video I made earlier today. If you hadn't seen it already, there's a lawmaker in California trying to make it a crime for defending your home and your family, citing that he doesn't want to encourage vigilantes like Kyle Rittenhouse, even though Kyle Rittenhouse was completely justified, as I'm sure many of you know. But let me see if I can get this video pulled up. Let's see. Video was shared by Libs of TikTok, but I know Libs of TikTok was not the first one to post this video. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let me make sure that it's good. Okay. And then let me get my overlay. Okay. And then, all right. So let's check out this video. So I'll just read the caption from the Libs of TikTok. So, grown man cries actual tears because Zelensky was kicked out of the White House. I just want to be next to Zelensky right now. So I saw this video over the weekend, and it's just sad, honestly. Like, there's a grown man crying about Zelensky being kicked out of the White House. Like, I don't know what's wrong with this individual. I don't know who this individual is, but it was just an interesting video, kind of funny. But as far as what happened with Zelensky being kicked out of the White House, basically they had a sit down meeting in front of the press. The video is much longer than the one that has been going around, but they basically got into a back and forth, got a little heated, and ultimately Zelensky was kicked out of the White House because he was being rude to the president and vice president. So now, following that, there's been a lot of people protesting. For example, JD Vance, he went up to ski in, I believe, Vermont, and he ended up having to leave early because there was a bunch of protesters protesting what happened here in the interview. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. How did you feel about that interaction between Zelensky and JD Vance and Trump? But besides that, let's play this video by this guy.
I don't give a fuck what he wears. This man has been respectful to every leader in the world. Everybody.
I'm not sure what he means by everybody, because clearly he hasn't been respectful to everybody. I mean, we're giving him, billions and billions of dollars. He won't even come dressed in a suit, and then he wants to argue about like what he's getting and what kind of security guarantees he's obtaining. So I don't know how he's been respectful to everyone. Maybe you should ask Putin how respectful he's been.
And you clowns want to fucking do that shit to him when he comes over here.
When he comes over here, he should wear a suit and have a lot more respect for the American people. My tax dollars are going to him. He should at least put on a goddamn suit. But this guy wants to call people clowns for criticizing Zelensky. Dude, you're a clown. Look at you. You're crying because the president of Ukraine got kicked out of the White House. You're crying because of that. I sincerely hope this is satirical.
And then talk to him like shit and kick him out of the White House. You fucking disgraceful son of a bitches.
What's disgraceful? Can this guy, like, can he elaborate further? Like, what is disgraceful? Like, Zelensky was being rude to JD Vance and President Trump. They're trying to talk about what's going on in his country and talk about what kind of deals they can make, because Zelensky owes us money. And there's also been videos of Zelensky saying that it was just, it was a gift. Like, it wasn't a loan. He doesn't have to pay it back, which is bullcrap. We've given him a lot of resources and money. He definitely needs to pay us back one way or another. But no, if anything, Zelensky deserved everything he got that day, in my opinion. So what's disgraceful? Please elaborate. Oh, I accidentally clicked out of the video. Oops, there we go.
Man.
Crying.
I just want to be next to Zelensky right now.
Why? Like, are you gonna console him, or like, is he in tears? Is he crying like you are right now? I feel like you need to have like your mom or something come console you. I feel like she should be next to you right now. Like, dude, you're crying over a Ukrainian president being kicked out of the White House. Get a grip, dude. Get a grip.
I wish I could talk to him.
Talk to him about what?
Forgive us.
What?
God damn, man. I can't. Sorry, y'all. I can't believe what I just witnessed in our White House.
That's like, I don't know, is this like Ukrainian propaganda? Like, what, who is this guy? And that's just, I mean, honestly, that was just pretty sad on his part, not on the United States part. That was just sad on his part. What is he crying about? Can anyone explain to me why he's crying? I don't even know why. What is he crying about? I don't understand. But that was just a video I saw over the weekend. I just thought it was interesting because, like, why are you crying? Like, everything that happened to Zelensky was completely justified. So I don't know. I guess cry more. Well, I think what scares me the most is that these people vote. Like, I mean, I'm sure this gets brought up all the time, but people like this vote. Like, that's a terrifying thought when you really think about it. But besides that, let me bring up the article I talked about earlier in my video if you didn't catch that. So, people are outraged at California Democrat. Let me pull this up here. So, people outraged after California Democrat introduces bill that criminalizes self-defense. AB 1333 limits homeowners' rights to defend self, family, and home from intruder. So, earlier in my video, I talked about this. And we have a pretty good article by the Gateway Pundit. Little biased, but I mean, that's definitely warranted considering how absolutely ridiculous this is. But check out my video earlier for more of my opinions on this. But it's just ridiculous. Let me read this tweet from Rick Chavez Zabur. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Don't really care considering he wants to take away my Second Amendment rights and my rights to self-defense. So he can kind of go screw himself. But AB 1333 was never intended to limit a crime victim's right to defend yourself, your family, or your home. The goal is to prevent wannabe vigilantes like Kyle Rittenhouse from provoking violence and claiming self-defense after the fact. We will amend the bill to make this crystal clear. So even then, even that is like too far. Kyle Rittenhouse, he defended himself against people violently attacking him during a riot. I believe it was the riots known as the Summer of Love, is what people commonly reference them as. And Kyle was completely justified in what he did. And he has been acquitted since. He went to court, he had a trial, and they let him go free for good reason. So it's just ridiculous. I don't even know why you would want to prevent people from defending themselves in justified manners. But then again, it is California and they don't like you defending yourself. They like to support criminals. I mean, just recently, only recently, we finally changed the law back to making theft a felony, because prior to January 1st, when because the vote took effect on January 1st, they had changed the law so that you could steal up to $900 for like any business, from any business, $900 worth of stuff, and it wasn't a felony. So, and then after you cross that threshold, then it's a felony if the cops want to show up. I mean, I used to work at a grocery store. I'll just say it. I used to work at Albertsons. And while I was there, there was times when I had a manager calling the cops on people trying to steal entire carts full of liquor, like 2 carts full of liquor. She's walking around the store. She's clearly trying to find a way out. There's only one exit besides the fire exits, which people went through the fire exits constantly to steal stuff. But the cops were like, hey, we called them. We're like, hey, she's got like $1,500, maybe $2,000 worth of alcohol in her carts. And the cops were like, oh, damn, call again when it's 3,000. Like the where I live, the cops are too busy for this crap as is. And they know that when they come and arrest these people, they're just going to get out anyway. So why am I, why should I be surprised? Why should I be surprised that California is doing this? They clearly support criminals. They don't want you to defend yourself, and they want you yourself to be incriminated when you do defend yourself or try to prevent people from stealing from you. And then they, of course, they have a community note. Assemblymember Zabur introduced the bill when he explicitly intended to limit the right to defend their home. This bill would eliminate certain circumstances under which homicide is justifiable, including, among others, in defense of a habitation or property. So, good community note there because they link the legislation down below. And yeah, no, he literally wants people not to be able to defend themselves in their own habitation or on their property, which there are states, I believe New York and New Jersey. I mentioned that in my video earlier, where they have the duty to retreat laws where you're literally prevented from defending your home. If you are not backed into a corner, you are not allowed to defend yourself. And then we have a good clip I'll play here. This is a Republican Congress member in California. And this is a Assembly member, David Tangapa. I am terrible with names. I probably butchered both of them, but oh well. So I'm going to play this clip by him because this was a good clip.
So what AB 1333 does is it shifts the burden of and changes the definition of homicide to where if somebody breaks into your house, if they don't intend to kill you, you cannot use deadly force to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But the question that comes up is, how do you know if a robber or a burglar is intending to kill you? And if they have a bat and you have a gun, do you have to wait for them to hit you prior to you using deadly force? Because if you use that too early, what it does is it gives the government an opportunity, local DAs and the state attorney general, to go after the homeowner and say, well, you could have ran away. You could have jumped out the window. That person only had a bat and you had a gun and you overly used deadly force for something when that person was just there to steal your car. Well, I'm sorry. There is no other place that should be safer for anybody than their own homes. And not only that, this is a direct step on the Second Amendment. If you cannot feel safe in your own home, if somebody enters your own home, it is your God-given right to self-defense that you should take all necessary actions to protect yourself, your family, and you should do whatever you need to.
I completely agree with everything he said in that clip there. You should have the right to defend yourself, especially on your own property. So this is just absolutely ridiculous. But again, not surprised with it being California. But we have other stories that we can get into. If you want more of my opinions on that, I posted them on both my Rumble and YouTube earlier today. So you can go ahead and check those out. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the NATO meeting excludes U.S. Europe, excludes U.S. Europe considers military aid to Ukraine. So that's another thing that people have been talking about. Let me see if I can get that pulled up. Oh, there it is. So let me share this here. So this is on X, and it looks like an emergency meeting of European NATO countries along with Canada and Ukraine took place in London to discuss further support for Ukraine amid ongoing tensions with Russia. This meeting occurred shortly after President Trump indicated a shift towards Russia, raising concerns about U.S. commitment to NATO. Discussions highlighted the possibility of European countries taking on more responsibility for Ukrainian security, with some European leaders considering military deployment, which has sparked a debate about the implications of such actions under NATO's Collective Defense Clause, Article 5. So Article 5 of NATO is, if one NATO country gets attacked, basically you're attacking all of the countries and they're to come to the defense of that NATO country. So as far as I'm concerned, I hope Trump leaves NATO at this point. We are NATO. The United States is NATO. So if we leave NATO, they don't really have any real power. And if Europe wants to go and help Ukraine with whatever, whether it's funding or troops on the ground, be my guest. But the United States should not be involved. My stance on this is leave Ukraine alone, take all their funding, take all everything we're sending them. Same with Israel and Palestine. I don't care about anything going on there. Send everything to the southern border and defend our southern border, take out the cartels, whatever we got to do there. But as far as NATO is concerned, I don't think we should be in NATO. There's no real use for NATO considering we are NATO. The United States is NATO. And then it looks like President Trump to meet with advisors to discuss halting U.S. military aid to Ukraine, which good, he should. And if the European countries decide to assist Ukraine with troops on the ground, we should just outright leave NATO. I don't understand what this like fixation is with Russia being the bad guy. If it were up to me, if I had any sway in international ties, I would say we need to be closer with Russia. We need to ally with them. We need to get more trade deals with them. And we need to stop driving them closer to China. The more we villainize them, the more they're going to turn to China for everything they need. And that's not going to bode well for us if China decides to break out into a war with us or with Taiwan or whatever the matter. And oh, looks like I got a chat here. I was focused on the other. Let's see, can I pull this up? Oh, there we go. So we got this from Back in Blanco. They live in literal hell. Kids, D's are getting chopped. You can't defend yourself. You're allowed to be high on crack and heroin. You can squat in other people's homes. It's hell. Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with you there. Thank you for what is it? A Rumble rant. Thank you for the Rumble rant. But yeah, no, absolutely. California, as much as I love the state, and I said this in my video earlier, as much as I love the state, there's just so much going on here, and politically, it's absolute hell. Yeah, you're completely right. And as far as squatting in people's homes, kids getting their D's chopped. Yeah, I mean, people in California they'll take your children if you refuse to trans your kid. California's crazy. But back to NATO. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below. Should we leave NATO? Should we just be like, screw it, leave NATO? But yeah, that was another story that was going around today. And as far as I'm concerned, leave NATO. We don't need to be there. We just don't. And then I got another good funny story. Let me see. We might come back to the NATO thing. I think there was more there. But I got another story that's kind of funny. I think this would be great for Republicans personally. So here we have this on X as well. Tim Walz 2028 presidential ambitions stir debate. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has indicated his interest in running for president in 2028, sparking a variety of reactions online. Some view his potential candidacy as as beneficial for the Republican Party. Definitely, if he ran for president and they selected him, that'd be great for the Republican Party. The Republicans are not great. There's a lot more they can do, but at least Democrats have not learned a single thing. I'm looking forward to the midterms, and I'm looking forward to the 2028 presidential campaigns, because Democrats haven't learned anything. They're just doubling down on all their nonsense. Like this, for example, if they actually go with Tim Walz, that would be great for the Republican Party, because this guy besides him being an absolute idiot, he was also a liar about multiple things, which I'll get into in just a moment, suggesting it could lead to an easy win for them, while others mock his chances by referencing controversial policies like placing tampons in boys' bathrooms, which, yeah, hilarious thing. Another thing that Democrats have vehemently defended is putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. How utterly ridiculous is that? I don't even want to know what they're supposed to do with those, but I know it's not for actual males or boys. It's supposed to be for females that identify as male, which is utterly ridiculous. Go and watch my interview. What was it? CNN interviewed some track runner that identifies as a woman, but not only does he identify as a woman, he identifies as a female, which I thought was even funnier. But that, like, who is this for? Who are you arguing for? This is supposed to be like the smallest percent of the population, and you guys are like vehemently defending them when, like, that's not how you help these people. This doesn't help anyone. It just makes you look like an idiot. Critics argue that his governance in Minnesota does not translate well to a national stage, labeling his potential run as a joke. A good joke for Republicans. Conversely, there are humorous endorsements from supporters who believe his campaign would at least make for interesting political discourse. Discussions also highlight a perceived contradiction in his political ambitions, as he was previously chosen as a running mate under the assumption he had no presidential aspirations. Yeah, which I'm sure many of you know because you're watching a political live stream. Tim Walz was the VP running mate for Kamala Harris, which was another candidate that absolutely failed. I don't even know how she got as close as she did. But Tim Walz, he's a bumbling idiot. Plus, all the things that this guy has lied about. I think one of the funniest things to bring up was I think it was a commercial or something. It was him and Kamala Harris, and he talked about how he likes white people tacos or something like that. And I don't even know how he described them, but basically like plain, no seasoning, just meat and cheese, I think is what he said. Like, that's the kind of tacos he likes, which is funny because if you looked into it, Tim Walz has an award-winning taco recipe. So it's just a weird thing to lie about. He literally has an award-winning taco recipe, yet he gets in an advertisement with Kamala Harris, and he's like, oh, I just like white people tacos, which is kind of offensive, to be honest. But it is what it is. And then you can also talk about him lying about his service. He lied about being a veteran in war and stuff like that, and he never saw combat, not once. He left before any form of combat or any sort of combat. Let's read some of these tweets here. Just some basic tweets. Breaking: Tim Walz is reportedly considering running for president in the next election. Whoa, what kind of salute is that? That's a weird one. And then let's see what other. I think I had some other stories to talk about. Let me go ahead and close out of that one. But yeah, no, let me know what you think, because I just thought that was hilarious. Let's see. Give them your money. You'll need to give them your lives next. Yeah, I mean, gotta love California. I'm assuming that's in reference to California, but let me go ahead and see what other stories I got here. Oh yeah, we could talk about this. Let me pull this up. This is also a pretty funny story. Let me go ahead and present it here. Where is it? There it is. Got a few windows up. Here we go. Another story going around X right now. Son Piker banned from Twitch over Rick Scott comment, which there are other things that should have got him banned way before this. But I guess it is what it is. But as Tim Pool referenced earlier, I don't have that tweet pulled up. But the way Twitch does things, this isn't an actual ban. This is just him. I don't even know. Like it's like a suspension, I guess. But we'll see how long it lasts. So Hassan Piker banned from Twitch over Rick Scott comment. Twitch streamer Hassan Piker, known as Hassan Abi, or some people call him Hamas Piker, because of his comments around October 7th and jokes he likes to make. Well, I don't even know if they're jokes, but comments he's made about 9/11, saying the United States deserved it. He was banned from the platform following a statement where he suggested that if one truly cared about Medicare fraud, they would kill Rick Scott. This comment was made during a live stream where he criticized the handling of healthcare fraud by politicians, specifically targeting Senator Rick Scott of Florida, who has a history linked to the largest Medicare fraud cases in U.S. history. The ban has ignited discussions on the balance between free speech and the platform responsibility in moderating content that could incite violence. Okay, so a lot of people talk about free speech. I am one of the biggest free speech advocates you will ever find, but the thing is, your free speech ends at the call to action. So if you call for an action against somebody, you are not free to say that. You will face consequences for that sort of speech. And now that's not to say that, you know, I don't agree with terms like hate speech and stuff like that. But when you actually call for the direct killing of someone, that is not free speech, and that is something that you should face consequences for. But let's see what this comment is from Hassan. I'm assuming this looks like his X account. So what did he say here? I'm sorry, I'll choose my words carefully next time and say, if Mike Johnson cares about Medicare fraud since he wants to cut $800 million from Medicare, he'd call for max punishment for current Florida GOP Senator, former Governor Rick Scott, who has done the most Medicare fraud in U.S. history. So what does he pull up here? Is this pulling up on the stream? Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, Rick Scott tries to rewrite history on $1.7 billion Medicare fraud controversy. This is the Miami Herald, I guess. I'd have to look into this story more. I don't know much about this, but I just want to read what he posted. Rick Scott's role in the Columbia HCA scandal. In 2003, Rick Scott Company, Columbia HCA, the largest private hospital chain in the U.S., was found guilty of defrauding Medicare. The company was forced to pay $1.7 billion, a settlement that was the largest medical fraud fine in U.S. history at the time. Scott, who was the CEO, left the company with a $10 million severance package after the scandal. In a 2010 campaign ad, he admitted the company made mistakes but pledged to take responsibility. And then what's this other one? Department of Justice, largest healthcare fraud case in U.S. history, settled HCA investigation nets record total of $1.7 billion. I'm not going to read that whole thing. That's a big wall of text there. But even besides that, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll choose my words carefully. Hassan is also known for saying, he makes threats like this all the time, and then he follows it up with, oh, in a video game, as if that's supposed to justify or make it all right that he says that kind of thing. So this guy's an idiot. He shouldn't be on the internet. He should be banned from the internet. I mean, I probably should have pulled up some of his other comments that he's made, but this guy has made plenty of comments that should have gotten him banned way before this, including people that he's had on his podcast, which he can't control what they say. but some of the things that they've said are also heinous. And yeah, I'm not surprised to. Well, I am a little surprised to finally see him banned, but it should have came sooner, and this should be permanent. But it likely won't be. He'll likely be back in a few days or a week or so. I don't see this remaining permanent, but who knows? We'll see, right? What other stories do we got today? There's quite a bit of news today. A lot of stuff rolling over from the weekend. Let me go ahead and close this so you can't. I don't want you to see my DM chat. You can't see my DMs with myself. You can't do that. What other stories? Let's see. There's more stuff about NATO. I guess we could talk about that. And then Pam Bondi's under fire related to the Epstein stuff. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about Pam Bondi in a moment. Let's go ahead and talk about the military review for aid to Ukraine. No, let's not that one. Let's go with this one. Okay, let me pull this one up. Okay. So Zelensky seeks peace with security. Trump defends his record. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has emphasized the need for real security guarantees and negotiations for peace with Russia, a stance criticized by former U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump, in recent post, highlighted that during his presidency, no Ukrainian territory was ceded to Russia, countering criticisms by stating his record of not compromising on Ukraine's land integrity. The discourse highlights a tension in diplomatic approaches, with Zelensky pushing for substantial security commitments, while Trump points to his administration's foreign policy achievements. So, as far as the war goes in Ukraine, the only reason Zelensky doesn't want the war to end is because he benefits greatly from everything going on there. That, and this guy's a dictator at this point. I know a lot of people argue about that, but no, the dude's a dictator. He's purposefully not holding elections at this point because he knows he will be removed from power. And even what was it, over the weekend, I believe there's now people in his own government seeking to remove him. They want to impeach him because he's keeping this war going because it benefits him. This guy owns like 5 or 6 yachts, and he's bought all of them in the time since this war has started. So when he makes comments like, oh, I've only received 47 billion of the 300 billion you guys sent me, it's like, huh, where did that go? I wonder where all that went. Maybe it went to some of his yachts and some of his buddies in the government. I don't know. That would be my assumption. Is this actually Volodymyr Zelensky? Is this actually his? Yeah, I think this is actually his X account. It's got 8 million followers, so I assume it's him. We continue our work with partners. We have already had talks and other steps to come soon. It is very important that we try to make our diplomacy really substantive to end this war the soonest possible. We need real peace, and Ukrainians want it most because the war ruins our cities and towns. We lose our people. We need to stop the war and to guarantee security. We are working together with America and other European partners and very much hope on U.S. support on the path to peace. Peace is needed as soon as possible. So he says this. And then what I find interesting, what I just want to point out is notice how he says it in English first, even though English is not the language of his people. So that he then messages it in Ukrainian or Russian or whatever it is. Ukrainian, even though they're greatly similar. But I just find that interesting. And it's probably because he's campaigning towards English-speaking countries. He's not campaigning for his own people. He's not sending out messaging to his own people. This is for the world. This is not for, I say the world like the United States and Europe or the world. But no, he's putting this message out to the people actually giving him the funding and the money and the support. He's not putting the message out. He puts it out secondary. His people are second to him. And the war over there is just absolutely heinous. He should have ended it a long time ago. There's also statements going around talking about how he doesn't see the war ending anytime soon, which a large part of that is because he doesn't want it to. He doesn't want it to end. As soon as the war ends, he is no longer out. He's no longer in power. He's no longer in power as soon as this war ends, and he doesn't get to buy any more yachts. He doesn't get to travel around the world and have all these fancy dinners and stuff like that, which is probably what upset him the most that day about getting kicked out of the White House. They had lunch prepared and everything, and then he got kicked out of the White House. He didn't even get to have lunch. Poor guy. Poor guy. But no, he's outright said that he doesn't see the war ending anytime soon, and that's because he doesn't want it to. The average age for a Ukrainian soldier is now here. Let me just ask Grok. Let me see if Grok says it. What is the average age of a Ukrainian soldier? Because last I heard, it was about late 30s, early 40s, because all the youth. Okay, wow. Okay, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up by Grok. Okay, bam. Okay, so what does Grok say? Grok says, as of recent reports, the average age of a Ukrainian soldier is estimated to be around 43 years old. This figure has been cited in various sources, including articles from late 2023 and mid 2024. So this was from last year. As of last year, the average age was 43. Now you may ask, why is the average age 43? Because their youth are dead. They've killed them off. They drafted all of these 18 to 24-year-olds, and now they've started to grab older and older people. What else does Grok say here? Significant increase from the early stages of the conflict in 2022, when the average age was reported to be between 30 and 35. The rise in average age is largely attributed to the ongoing war with Russia, which has led to substantial casualties and a reliance on older volunteers and conscripts, as younger men under 25 are exempt from the frontline combat to preserve them for Ukrainians' future. However, some anecdotal claims suggest the average could be as high as 48 in certain units by late 2024, though this lacks official confirmation and may reflect specific frontline experience rather than a nationwide statistic. Ukraine does not publicly release official troop age data, so these estimates are based on observations from military analysis, journalists, and soldiers themselves, which is fair because, I mean, if you're in a conflict, you're not going to just put all these numbers out there for your enemy to see. Same thing with Russia, which is, I think, one of the biggest things with the ongoing conflict, because you do see what is it? Let me see. Okay, I was seeing other comments, but you see this with Russia and Ukraine both. You see this in all conflicts. If you're putting out these troop movements, you're putting out the age of your soldiers and stuff like that. That's just information that your enemy can take advantage of and use against you. So it's definitely something that you don't want easily available to your enemies. But it is still concerning, to say the least, because I mean, 43, your average age for your soldiers are 43 years old. That's definitely concerning. Even if I mean, it said it there in that comment that a lot of the people under 25 are exempt from the frontline combat, so that means they're doing support roles and things like that, but that doesn't mean they don't see combat just because they're not on the front lines. And also what's this one? I got another story, bring that up in just a moment. But no, it's really concerning. It's really sad. There's a lot of people that have died that should not have died, and they act like Zelensky. I mean, Zelensky shows up to the White House and without a suit and tie because he's an actor. He's acting. He wants to gain your sympathy. He's like, look, my people are at war, and it's like, okay, well, you could have ended that war a long time ago. I mean, Russia stopped taking territory. They already took what they wanted. At this point, Ukraine is just trying to reclaim the territory, and it's not going to work. You're not going to take the territory back from Russia. It is what it is. There's massive casualties on both sides, and at this point, the fighting needs to stop. And then let's go ahead and pull this next story up. Man, I'm just flying through these stories today, huh? Crazy. So let's get this next one up right here. So it looks like we got a new story 2 hours ago. New tariffs to impact trade with Canada, Mexico, and China, which I thought this was an older story, but I guess it is being resurfaced because I know the tariffs were canceled because Trump had struck a deal. But let's see. So new tariffs set by the Trump administration on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China are scheduled to take effect at midnight on Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. These tariffs include a 25% levy on goods from Canada and Mexico, while tariffs on Chinese imports are set to increase from 10% to 20%. Despite potential last-minute adjustments or cancellations by President Trump, preparations include these measures will proceed as planned. So it looks like he's going to start tariffing these other countries, which, good. I'm all for it. All these countries have tariffs on us when it comes to trade. Why shouldn't we tariff them, especially when they're working against us? So let's see what this comment is. We have this from Nick Sortor. Go follow him on X. He posts a lot of good news stuff that I like to use. So breaking: President Trump just confirmed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico start tomorrow. More China tariffs are coming too. So let's go ahead and play this clip.
But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. In other words, you build, and this is exactly what Mr. Wei is doing by building here. Otherwise, they'll build, if they did them in Taiwan to send them here, they'll have 25% or 30% or 50% or whatever the number may be someday. It'll go only up. But by doing it here, he has no tariff. So he's way ahead of the game. And I would just say this to people, but very importantly, tomorrow
Yeah, so a
tariffs.
short clip. Clearly, he had more to say there, but that's just a clip on that. Which a lot of people get angry about these tariffs, but I mean, think about it. What does the United States make anymore? Do we actually make anything anymore? Not, I mean, not really. When you really think about it, we don't make a whole lot of anything. And if we hope to start making things in this country again, if we want to be a manufacturing superpower, the only way to do that, I mean, free trade is great. I love free trade, but there comes a point at which let's see. Oh, we got a comment. Honda is moving to the U.S. instead of Mexico over this. So we got this from Professor D. Hama. That is Joey Cannoli on the Outworld Live show. Go check him out on Rumble. And so, no, he's completely right. And good. We need more manufacturing in the United States. The United States doesn't make anything anymore. If we want people trading with us and buying things from us, if we want cheaper things in the United States, and what is that? Oh, hell yeah. uh, sorry, I'm reading the comments. But no, if we want more jobs in the United States, if we want more people having actual good jobs that benefit our country, we need to start tariffing these other countries that have outsourced our labor and outsourced all the manufacturing. So in order to bring these back, we need to start tariffing these countries. Otherwise, we're just going to keep outsourcing, and eventually we'll not have anything here. Because I mean, what kind of jobs can a young guy like me get? I'm gonna go work at a grocery store. I'm gonna go work at a fast food place, not making anything. That's not right. That's not how this country should be. The United States is supposed to be a superpower on the world stage, yet we don't make anything anymore. So let's see. And then what he's talking about here, I believe this is the individual that has promised $100 billion. Do I have that story? Yeah, here it is. Pull this one up here. So TCMC, or sorry, I just said that wrong. TSMC announces $100 billion U.S. investment with Trump, President Donald Trump, along with TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, is set to announce a significant $100 billion investment in the United States semiconductor manufacturing. This investment will span over 4 years and aims to enhance domestic chip production, adding to TSMC's already announced projects. The decision coincides with the introduction of tariffs, though it's part of broader strategic considerations by TSMC for expanding its global manufacturing footprint. Absolutely great to see this from Donald Trump. This is how you get people to come to the United States. If they want to trade with one of the richest, wealthiest countries on the world, they should be making their stuff here. We need to get people to come here and start making their stuff here, because then we'll have jobs for the American people, actual great jobs that don't require people to raise the minimum wage artificially, which is another complaint I have about California. California constantly raises its minimum wage, thinking that it's going to wait, how do I get that to go away? That's still up. I'm new to YouTube and Rumble streaming. You'll have to forgive me. There's a few issues here and there, but no, California raises its minimum wage constantly, and what I had to explain constantly to my coworkers who were all for it is like, look, they raise the minimum wage, but then these jobs that are actually high paying, like for a short matter of time, I worked at a what was it? I'm not going to say the company's name, but it was metal manufacturing, and we were making parts for airplanes, and it had to do with welding and metal fabrication and stuff like that. I can make $25 an hour doing metal fabrication, an actual difficult job that requires training and a lot of brain power. And I would get paid $25 an hour for that. Or I can go work at McDonald's. Do I want to drive an hour back and forth to work every day to work for something that actually benefits the country? Or do I want to go 10 minutes down the road and work for a corporate company that doesn't care about the health of the people eating its food? I mean, like that's California. That's California right now. They don't incentivize people moving up, because why would I want to move up when I could just stay at the bottom making almost as much money as everyone else? Why strive for greatness when I can just be like, nah, I'm okay. I'm good. Like I don't know. That's just me though. I know a lot of people support the minimum wage, but it doesn't actually benefit anyone. You know what would benefit everyone? Get rid of taxes. Remove taxes. We don't need the taxes. Just start tariffing everybody. That's how we used to get our money for this country. Maybe like some taxes here and there for very specific things, but they should be temporary. And as soon as the problem is fixed, bam, good. You're done. Get it out of here. But even then, I don't know, because then that just kind of incentivizes people. Oh, what did I just click? I don't know what I did, but it just incentivizes people continuing on with the problems. I mean, that's why you see the homeless problem in the United States getting worse and worse instead of it actually getting better. Because why would a nonprofit or for-profit company actually solve a problem when they get millions or billions of dollars every year to supposedly fix it? But that's just how it goes in the good old state of California. I'm sure it happens in other states as well. But let's see, what other stories did I have to talk about today? That it really is a lot of the stories today. A lot of it's just kind of rollover from what happened last week, especially with Zelensky and everything going on there. Let me see. I think I had another story I could pull up. Don't want to have any dead air. So let me see. Trump to review U.S. military aid with Ukraine. So why is that still up? How do I get that to go away? I, Joey's just getting free advertisement here because I don't know how to make the headline go away. I don't know how to do that. So I guess Joey could stay up there. He gets to have a headline up there. Let me go ahead and present this next story we can get into, which I already did talk about this a little bit, but there's always more to talk about with this. So U.S. President Trump is scheduled to meet with his national security advisors today, discuss potential suspension or complete cancellation of military aid to Ukraine. So this follows everything that happened with the interview that happened last week. Here's one of the famous images. You can see J.D. Vance and Trump just like, no, just stop talking. It was really funny. Let me see if I could actually let me find the video of Zelensky getting kicked out of the White House. Can I find that video? Let me see. Zelensky getting kicked out of the White House. I think he went on what was it, Fox News after the fact to apologize, but I don't care really at the end of the day because he shouldn't have been arguing with them. He should be kissing Donald Trump's feet. He should be kissing the feet of every taxpayer that has given him money. But let's see. Do we have a video? I could might have to find it on X because I can't find it on the interwebs. I'm sure you guys have already seen it before, but just in case, I do want to pull it up because it was a funny video. Let's see. Zelensky getting kicked out of the White House. Okay, I think I found the video. Yep. Okay, let's watch this because this was funny. Let me go ahead and present. Stop screen. Let me go ahead and pull this one up. Nope, other one. There we go. Bam. Okay. Go ahead and watch this. Just a short clip.
This is really pretty incredible. We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us one
Zelensky's
moment. If you
SUV.
look to your left, let's watch.
Mr. President, is the deal off? President.
Just nice, short, sweet clip. Zelensky has left the White House with his tail between his legs after being kicked out of out by President Trump. Pool reports. This is from Nick Sword. I'm just gonna pull up Nick Sartor's tweet. Zelensky has officially left the White House after being kicked out by President Trump. According to Pool reports, he was begging to say bye. No, I mean this is just embarrassing for. I mean, people want to say that the back and forth with Trump and Vance, it was embarrassing on their part, but no, it's embarrassing to get kicked out of the White House. It's embarrassing to try. You're trying to argue with the guy that's literally trying to give you billions of dollars or trying to help you with the war in your country, and you want to argue with him. Why? Like what? Like I know why. Again, I said it earlier in the live stream. He just wants the war to keep going. He just wants it to keep going because he knows if it stops, then he will no longer be president. And I sincerely feel for the people in Ukraine. I don't like what Russia's done, but at the same time, I don't exactly how should I say this? I understand why Russia did what they did. I mean, the United States the whole purpose of NATO is to go against Russia. They are already surrounded by NATO countries on basically all sides, and Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. And if Ukraine joined NATO, they are officially surrounded on all sides by NATO countries. And even besides that, there's resources that Russia used to have access to that they no longer have access to because other day. You got to look at it from a nationalistic point of view. If you're talking about what is in the national interest, let's say, I don't know, the United States were to fall for whatever reason, which seems more and more likely every year. It's been better with Trump's presidency thus far, but doesn't mean it's still not a possibility. But let's say the United States government were to collapse for some reason, like the Soviet Union did, and then California were to secede like they would like to. Let's say as we're rebuilding our country and we're trying to get more power on the world stage again, we go and however you want to say it, we take back California. Would that be the worst thing ever? To go in and just take California back? Like, oh no, they're a sovereign country now. Okay, but they used to be a part of the United States, and they also have the same culture. Mostly, it is California. They have the same culture and they speak the same language. Would it be the worst thing ever? If you look at it from a nationalistic point of view, it would actually be good for the country. And that's why I think it's funny when we talk about buying Greenland or uh, taking Canada or taking Mexico. When you look at it from a nationalistic point of view, it's actually not the worst idea ever. It definitely could be beneficial to the country. What would not be beneficial, however, is if we gave Canadians voting rights. If we ever were to take Canada, we cannot give them voting rights. They don't get that. They clearly don't know how to vote properly, and we would never have a Republican president ever again. Now, that's not to say that I am a Republican. I try to stay in the center. But as of lately, the conservatives and the right on the political spectrum has a truth bias. The truth is biased towards the Republicans. So I tend to lean more conservative and vote conservative as of late. But that can always change. There tends to be a pendulum swing when it comes to politics. And Democrats used to be a little bit more sane, I guess you can say, but as they've become more and more insane, it has pushed me over to the right side of things, which it tends to be correct on a lot of things. But as far as NATO goes, we'll see what happens there. But Europe is literally talking about Europe is literally talking about sending in boots on the ground, which we do have boots on the ground in Europe, Ukraine. We have people over there that are training their troops and stuff like that. But as far as actual soldiers on the ground, we don't have that yet. But if Europe wants to do that, be my guest. Go right ahead. As much as I think that's a terrible idea, go ahead. More power to you. I at the end of the day, I don't really care. What I do care about is Americans. Americans. I care about American values, and I care about what is in our best interest. What is in our best interest is not war with Russia, and it is not helping Ukraine. Same thing with Israel and Palestine. I don't like some of the comments Trump's made about taking Gaza and stuff like that. But we'll see where this goes at the end of the day. We'll see where everything goes, and we're getting to the end of the podcast today. Looks like I was successful in my solo stream. I will likely have guest on in the future. That way I don't have to carry the weight for the entire show. You'll likely see people like Professor D Hama on Twitter, otherwise known as Joey Cannoli or the Outworld Live. Back in Blanco is also in the chat. May have him on the channel in the future. We'll see. We'll have some guests on in the future. I also have some buddies that want to come on. So we'll see. We'll see where things go. I just wanted to do the first ever Tyler Today live by myself, just to get into the swing of things. I did start a little bit late today, with it being my first ever live stream. There were a little bit of technical difficulties, still trying to work out a few things, and it didn't want to go live on YouTube for whatever reason, so I had to disconnect from YouTube and then reconnect. And then we got some comments. You're gonna get my links first from now on. Let's see. Nobody else showed. I'll even give you. Thank you, Blanco. I'm not gonna read that. I read it, but I'm not gonna say it. Dihama like Buddha. Dihama. Okay. And then let's see. Lol. Thank you guys for all the chats. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show today. I really appreciate it. I am going to get call-ins set up. I do want people to be able to call in and add to the show. I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to do that. I did have it ready to go today for people to possibly call in today, but I had to delete the stream and then get it reconnected to YouTube and everything, so it didn't work out that way. But I will have call-ins in the future. I want people to come up and call me out when I'm saying something that's not true. I want people to be able to add to whatever it is that we've got going on. Like, I'm sure I missed a lot today. There's probably a lot of information I missed today. So I would love for people to call in and add to that, as well as if they disagree with me on stuff. Like, I know a lot of people disagree with combating the cartels. A lot of people disagree with leaving NATO and being allied with Russia. A lot of people disagree with stuff I have to say, which is I'm all for it. I love debate. My favorite conversations are with people that disagree with me. Of course, I love talking to people that agree with me. I love hearing that as well. But if people disagree with me, those are always my favorite conversations, because I usually end up learning something from it, whether it's how stupid the person is or I was wrong about something. I always learn something when I argue with people. So I look forward to that. But I really do appreciate the people that tuned in today. Looks like we had about 9 viewers at one point. So that's pretty cool. And I really do appreciate it, you guys. Look forward to this. I will be live streaming 1 p.m. Pacific Standard throughout the week. And like I said, look out for that, and look out for a guest being on. If you would like to be a guest, hit me up on X. That's probably the easiest way to contact me. I got my X handle, my Twix handle down in the bottom right. And I'll probably end the stream just a little bit early, just because I did talk a lot faster than I thought I would. I thought I would be a little bit slower, but we got through quite a bit of news today. So I do appreciate everyone tuning in. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the ending music, and then I'll play the outro. Thank you guys for tuning in, and peace out. Oh, is it gonna play? Come on. I've been having issues with this. It doesn't want to play my longer video. Will it play my outro? Let's see. Nope. Oh wait, am I on the wrong thing? See, look, I'm still learning the Rumble Studio. It won't let me move off of presentation. Oh no. Can I even end the stream? I think I'm stuck on stream now. I have to stream forever now. Come on. Come on. It doesn't want to work. It won't even move to. I'm trying to move to solo. It won't even move to solo. It's just stuck on presentation. Well, I tried. I tried, guys. It's not working. Why wouldn't it work? Why? I don't understand. I'm trying to figure it out. We'll figure it out. There will be better live streams in the future. This is just the first one. Just got to get in the swing of things. Let me see if it'll let me end the live stream. Again, thank you guys. Peace out. It's trying to end. It's trying to end the stream. We'll see. It's loading. Oh no. Why are you loading? Like I said, it's trying to keep me on forever. I'm here forever.